You've heard that about the Hummer, but that's somehow, that's tied to the road improvements to a certain degree, so.
Okay, all right, I'll let you slide on that.
Yeah, I wonder, Bird Creek and those,
It's, yeah, it hasn't been easy. They're looking forward to
getting that
having
done.
those road improvements done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
The February 3rd, 2025 P and Z work session meeting is called to order at 5:15 PM. If you would like to make a comment during the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, there's a sign-in roster located at each entrance. Please sign in. Does anyone wish to make a comment? If so, please state your name and city of residence for the record. Limit comments to 3 minutes. We will have a timer on the screen for your reference.
Chair, we're seeing none online.
Thank you. I will now turn the meeting over to Planning and Development Director Brian Chandler.
All right, good evening. So 2 items on tonight's agenda, both are plats. The first one is final plat of Blackland Ranch Addition Phase 2. It's on consent, but happy to answer any questions about that one. As the name suggests, this is the second phase of Blackland Ranch, which is really the first TMed South residential development that meets all of the TMed requirements, or at least the amended ones that were approved by council in 2018. Commissioner Morales remembers that. She was on council at that time. So anyway, it meets all the TMed standards, including sidewalks, street trees, parks, trail connections, and happy to answer any questions y'all have about that. Okay. And then the second one is on the regular agenda, and this is for the final plat of French Hill subdivision. Some of you that have been on P&Z for a while may remember this one. If it looks familiar, it's because it is. It has come back because they were trying to get an easement, maybe from Encore, I believe, yes, Encore easement engineers here, and they were unable to do so. They had to make some adjustments to their plan that were significant enough to bring it back. And Cheryl will present that. One piece of information that she'll also let you know is that because this is more recent, we've had an opportunity to compare their plan to 42nd Street, which borders on the eastern side. There you can see it. That is a future collector. It's a city project to accommodate the growth in that area. And there's a 2-foot discrepancy at this point about right of way by the engineer for the 42nd Street project and the engineers for this project. They're not necessarily in disagreement. It's just a matter of, we want to make sure we moved this forward because it does have to go to city council, because they're one of the differences between this plan and the previous one is they had to put in a cul-de-sac. Well, the cul-de-sac is too long for our standards for emergency vehicle access, but they're providing a knuckle, a turnaround, so that a fire truck could easily turn around, not have to go all the way to the end of the street and turn around, which is one of the main intentions of that code. So technically, that still requires an exception and goes to city council, but we're good with that. But the right-of-way discrepancy on 42nd Street, the engineers are going to talk to the engineers, figure that out, and if an adjustment is needed to the plat, we'll have a condition in there just to, hopefully y'all will be comfortable with that and not require them to come back. Does any of that make sense? Okay. Let me know if you have any questions on that. All right. Very good. So we'll go ahead and Jason, if you can pull up. There we go. Thank you. Just update from, I guess that was the January 16th council meeting, which you'll see a trend here. There were a lot of cases tabled. So you've seen all these before, but wanted to give you an update, circle back with you, starting with the annexation on State Highway 36. And this was to accommodate, excuse me for a second, accommodate a future RV park. And the RV park was tabled, which meant the developer wanted to table the annexation because if they can't do the RV park, they're not ready to annex. That makes sense. So remember, this is the property here, 19 acres plus. And the main reason for the tabling is because this is an area where we don't have city water. So even if we're annexed, we would not be obligated to extend sewer. It's about a mile, or water or sewer. It's about a mile. And so Moffett Water Supply would have to provide water in the interim until our water lines get extended through other development. And so that's a question in terms of who would serve the property in terms of water supply. Is Moffett even okay with that? So they're just questions to not approve a project that it prematurely, before those water questions have been answered. So, and of course, here's the conditional use permit for that RV park on 36 that was tabled as well. We don't know when that's going to come back because it depends on when a meeting can be set up with Moffett Water Supply Corporation. And we would like to be part of that conversation as well, because ideally Moffett provides water in the interim. And then when we extend our lines out there, it could switch over. We would probably be fine with that. Staff would recommend that. Ultimately council has to approve that, but we don't know whether Moffett is comfortable with that. So lots of questions
Ryan,
for,
was that, I know them bringing that forward, was that Dalton Engineering?
yes, yes.
To go ahead and bring it, because it was kind of, it seemed a little bit cart before the horse.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
then
You all
everybody,
brought that
several
up.
residents here.
Yep, you all brought that up, and it was a great question, and we've filed that away, just for future projects to say, okay, well, what questions do we need to be asking earlier? And yeah, so
So
still,
those residents were informed that it was put on the table.
yes, sir, you're correct. And when it comes back, we will contact them just to let them know it's coming back to city council. We'll come back to you all. Okay, whoops, wrong button. All right. And there was the Split Pea, for lack of a better term, Split Pea Road project that was also tabled. So you remember this one? Well, there are still questions about what would be done with Split Pea Road. It doesn't meet current standards. Been working with the developer to potentially improve some of that. Either way, the neighbor to the southwest of this, you can see, I don't know if you'll be able to see my highlight, but just to the left of the NS, the red, they showed up, of course, at P&Z, expressed their concerns very eloquently, and did the same at city council. And the bottom line is council wanted to see a little bit more development of the site plan before they felt comfortable approving it. So the applicant is finalizing an actual site plan, beyond just this basic bubble map showing where the uses would be located, but actually show the lots and the roads, the buffering and screening, sidewalks, et cetera. So that'll come back presumably on February 20th to city council. Won't be ready the next one.
Will that come back to us or just go council?
No, it'll just go straight to city council unless they were to withdraw and submitted a new request. So to the 2 Woodland Trail project was not tabled. So you remember this one, this is just to make the entire site for the new gas station and convenience store there out by the lake, just to make it a consistent zoning. And that's where the septic system is now. So no controversy there. And there is the survey for that piece of property. They're actually open. So that has worked out for them. And then the other Belton Engineering RV Park on Dairy Road. Water is not a question here, but there were still some questions particularly related to the thoroughfare plan and Dairy Road. And I guess I didn't include the slide showing the thoroughfare plan, but you may recall that there was an dotted orange line cutting through this property, which would be a future collector. And council wanted to see us work a little more closely with the applicant on making sure that we do still have a collector, looking at Dairy Road, making it a collector rather than bisecting the property. And that seems to make a lot of sense. And so, but by doing that, it also would make sense for them to require leaving at least the 300 feet of frontage for future development, future non-residential development for screening purposes, but also just to, just in case, hey, this becomes a prime corridor in the future, to make sure that we're not having RV parks take up valuable commercial frontage when it's really not necessary. So that's something else that they're looking at. And they agreed to bring that one back. It'll probably come back on February 20th as well, I would guess. And then the last one, the exception to this townhome project, South 41st Street, this plat. And so you'll remember this is over just to the southeast of Salmon's Golf Course. And here's the plat. And the exception was related to allowing a hammerhead on the west side, tract A, shown as Rojas Avenue, rather than a cul-de-sac. And we had quite a bit of discussion with Public Works about this after P&Z and before City Council. Bottom line is they were okay with this. It's not ideal for trash pickup because they try to prevent their trucks from having to back up. And a cul-de-sac, a big enough cul-de-sac would still probably require them to back up, just depending on where cars are parked, all that good stuff. But if no cars are parked there, then cans can just be picked up moving forward. So something that we talked about is with the UDC update is potentially widening our cul-de-sac radius because trucks are getting bigger. And I mean, it's just a reality. And so the cul-de-sacs may need to be bigger as well. And so that's just wanted to give you that update. It got approved, but it also stimulated some other conversations about future code amendments. And of course, they're on their site plan, they were showing also overflow parking. These are townhomes, which is a good thing, but that could make it a little more complicated for turnaround. But they do have backup cameras on the trash truck, so that's helpful. And that is all that I have. And just in time, you've got 40 seconds to ask any questions.
Commissioner Morales is going to give the invocation. Commissioner Jurassic will do the pledge. We'll hear from Tiffany in regards to any affidavits.
Commissioners, for the record, no affidavits to abstain have been received for this meeting. Is this correct? Thank you.
Is there any additional business? If not, the work session is closed at 5:29 p.m.